Friends, this is the story of a man who fought for more than 400 days in the world's largest and most merciless sea, Pacific Ocean. He set a world record and came back alive after 14 months. But what happened as soon as he came back? That he had to commit suicide. Let's know the whole story in this video. When people hear the name Pacific Ocean, they start sweating. There is 71% water in the world, which is divided into 4 oceans. Their names are Atlantic, Pacific, Indian, and Arctic. The largest ocean is the Pacific. It is so big that the dry part of the Earth, which is 165 million square kilometers, this single ocean can cover 148 million square kilometers. There are only a few islands on this ocean that are very small, and there are some islands on which no human has ever been able to go. Now, if by mistake a person gets lost in the Pacific Ocean, it is almost impossible to find him. The name of the man who lived in the Pacific Ocean for 14 months was Jose Salvador Alvarenga. This man had a small 7-foot board on which he could not even lie down properly, and this man lived on this board for more than a year. He also competed for the mercilessness of the sea and also set a world record, which no other person has ever been able to break. Jose was only forced by his luck that he got stuck in this terrible difficult. This is the story of 2012. Jose was a 36-year-old experienced fisherman who lived in a village in Mexico, Costa Azul. On November 17, 2012, Jose and one of his companions go fishing together, as usual, on their 7-foot small boat. On this boat, they could not go far and catch fish because the boat was very small, which had only 1 engine and 1 fridge, so they could only catch a few fish. Both decided to return in 30 hours. Both set out 120 kilometers away from the coast of Mexico, laying their net in the sea. Suddenly, they see a dangerous sea storm coming their way. To save time, they leave the net there and run the boat at full speed for 6 hours in a row. They were only 20 kilometers away from the coast when the boat's engine suddenly broke. They could see the coast and their village. The storm was far behind. They had a radio with them, through which they sent their location to their boss and waited for an answer. Their luck was so bad that the radio's battery was also dead. On one side, they were looking at the coast. On the other side, storm coming their way, which was coming so violently, as if they would survive. With the storm, the wind was so strong that their boat started moving away from the coast. In a short while, the coast also moved away from the scene, and strong waves pulled them to the other side. When the message reached their boss, it was too late, so he sent a search party to find them. But every passing moment, Jose's boat kept moving away from him. Because of the intensity of the storm, these people were neither able to see anything, nor were they able to understand where they were and where the coast was. Surprisingly, in just 5 days, their boat had reached 450 kilometers away from the coast. Because of the small boat was getting more difficult to find them, neither did they have a flare gun, nor did they have anything to set fire to, so that they could call someone with smoke signals. Seeing each other, they started thinking in their minds that maybe it is difficult to escape now. The food was also finished 2 days earlier. They didn't even have any equipment to catch fish, because they had already left the net. They were so hungry that suddenly a bird comes on their boat, sits. They both look at each other and suddenly attack the bird, but are unable to catch it. Both knew that maybe the bird will come again. In a while, another bird comes. This time, both plan to catch it in many ways, and finally they succeed. And in this way, both spend their time with the coming birds on the boat to satisfy their hunger. Drinking the salty water of the sea can kill a person. For this reason, they started storing the rainwater in plastic bottles, which they used to drink and stay alive. But when it didn't rain, they used to drink the blood of fish and turtles to satisfy their thirst. But that too when they were successful in catching them. Days passed, and then months. It is also very difficult for us to imagine the mental torture that these two were going through. Finally, Josea's companion could not bear this torture, and after 4 months, he committed suicide. And now Josea was alone on the boat. All around him was only water. Seeing this, he could not see any hope for life. But if you look at the maps, you can see that he was in this part of the Pacific Ocean, which is considered to be the quietest part of the world, because only cargo ships pass through here. It had been more than 6 months since he left the coast of Mexico, and during this time, Hosea had also lost his companion. For this reason, he was very frustrated. One day, Hosea saw a cargo ship in the distant ocean. In the last 6 months, he saw this first ship, and as soon as he saw this scene, he regained hope of being alive. Hosea deployed to the cargo ship as much as possible, but unfortunately, the ship was so far that he could not see Hosea. And as soon as he saw it, the ship also disappeared from Hosea's eyes, and he started thinking that maybe it is written in my destiny to die. Friends, just think, for 6 months you are stuck in such a place in the world where you do not even see another person. And if after a long time you see someone, but they can't see you and pass away, how will you feel? After 11 months, Hosea had traveled 8,000 kilometers on his small boat. His clothes were also torn, and he only had an underwear left to save himself from the sunlight. Finally, the time came when fate was kind to Hosea. On January 30th, 2014, that is, after 14 months, Hosea saw coconuts floating in the water nearby. So he understood that this is a sign that there is an island nearby, from where he can see coconuts falling and floating. And after a while, he actually sees an island, but he was afraid that this island would also be missed by him somewhere. That's why he went into the water himself and swam to the island. In the last 14 months, Hosea had set foot on a land for the first time. And when he reached the island, he saw a scene and started crying. He saw a small beach house in which the locals were present, and in the last 438 days, it was the first time that Hosea had contact with a person. This island was a remote island of the Marshall Islands, which is called Ibon Atoni, and this island was 11,000 kilometers away from Hosea's starting point. Hosea was lucky that he reached near the island himself. Otherwise, if Hosea had missed this island, his next stop would have been in the Philippines, which was also 5,000 kilometers away from this island. Hosea was sent back to his home from there, and as soon as he reached, he fell from another trouble. Upon reaching back, Hosea published a book in the name of 438 Days, but Hosea was accused of killing his companion, and a case was filed against him. The same companion who committed suicide, according to Hosea, after seeing so much, person who came back alive, person who could not express his innocence and was sent to jail. Hosea committed suicide due to stress. And this is how this story is completed. I hope you will like this video. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel. See you in the next video. Goodbye.